My topic here is Black Friday deals, discounts and promotions. So hopefully that's what you've all come to learn more about. So there are lots of reasons to run Black Friday themed promotions on your e-commerce site. I mean, the most obvious one is you want to generate more sales. That's, doesn't even need saying really, does it? But believe it or not, that's not the only reason why you might run a Black Friday campaign. Now, a lot of businesses will actually decide not to participate in Black Friday. The reason being because perhaps they've got very tight margins, or they just don't think they could cope with, if they had a sudden, if their sales suddenly quadrupled overnight, could they actually cope with it anyway? Can they afford to give away the margin? It's not for every business. So just because you're running an e-commerce business, it does not mean that you automatically have to take part in Black Friday and run deals, discounts and offers. It's up to you. It's your business, isn't it? You decide if it's right for you. However, there is obviously a massive opportunity because people are, they've just had their payday. They're looking ahead to Christmas and they wanted to get some gifts in well in advance. Especially, I wonder how it will be this year, because with all the predictions of there being stock shortages in the shops as we get close to Christmas, do you think more people will actually buy in advance this year? Time will tell, but I have a feeling they might. So if you're selling something that people might buy as a Christmas gift, maybe the sales will come a bit sooner this year than you would normally expect. It'll be interesting to find out if that's the case. Of course, some of you, the things you're selling on the web, on your website, are not things that relate to Christmas anyway. But nevertheless, there's kind of an expectation now among the British public that you're going to run deals and discounts on Black Friday. So as I said, you don't have to participate, but there is a bit of an expectation there. So if you don't participate, I don't know, maybe people will be disappointed. Maybe you'll actually get fewer sales than normal during that period because everybody's off, busy spending their money somewhere else. So that's just another thing for you to think about, really, when you're weighing up the pros and cons. Now, even if you're thinking, well, my margins are so tight already, I can't possibly cut my prices for a weekend just because everybody else is doing Black Friday, I won't make a profit. Do you know what? There are actually some reasons to run Black Friday campaigns, even if you're not going to make a profit. There are actually some very good reasons. So one of the reasons is that it's a great opportunity if you're a business that people are going to build up loyalty to and potentially buy from repeatedly. It's a great opportunity to capture those people's interest for the first time, bring them in, get them to buy something from you. And then you have got the ability then to potentially target them again in future because you know who they are, you've got their email address. You may or may not have permission to send them further deals and discounts, but hopefully you've made it very attractive to them to want to be on your mailing list. So you've acquired this pool of new customers. You may not have made any money on the first order that they've made from you, but as I'm sure those of you who've been running an e-commerce store for a while, you will appreciate that once somebody has bought from you once, they are much more likely to buy from you a second time, as long as they've had a good experience, of course, which is a point that we'll come back to with Karen's presentation, because obviously if you bring all these people to your website and then you're so busy that you mess up their order, that's not going to be a good first experience buying from you, is it? So we need to think about how to manage that. So acquiring new customers in its own right that you can then potentially sell more stuff to later, that in itself is a valid reason. You could look upon Black Friday as not an exercise in making money, but an exercise in perhaps just breaking even and acquiring a whole bunch of new people onto your mailing list. That's one way of looking at it. You can get really useful data from running a Black Friday campaign. So if you've never done a big sort of deals weekend, then you won't have any data relating to how your website performs under those circumstances. So then if you're looking later on to do something similar again, you've got no past data to make any predictions from. So again, you can regard it as an exercise in obtaining useful data on, when you run these kinds of discounts, what sort of reaction do you get? Which types of promotion are most successful for your business? If you haven't run any promotions, you won't know, will you? And you can, of course, also use it as an opportunity to have a bit of a warehouse clear out. If you've got some stuff piled up in the corner that's not selling, why not put that into your Black Friday deals in some shape or form? Have a bit of a clear out, make way for some new stock that will hopefully sell better. So there's all sorts of reasons for getting involved in Black Friday. It's not just about making a ton of money, because you may well not make a ton of money, but you may achieve some of these other things. We have come up with this. Don't worry, as I said, we're sharing the slides and we're sharing the recording afterwards, so you don't have to get all of this down. But we actually had a big brainstorming session in the office the other day to come up with this, and we might even turn it into a little tool on our website. This is our offer generator. So assuming you've made the decision, yes, I want to get involved in Black Friday. I want to run some kind of big promotion on my website or some combination of promotions. Basically, any offer usually consists of the user has to do something or fit certain criteria, and then the user gets something back. So that's what the two columns of this table correspond to. And it's kind of a mix and match offer generator. So you could pick almost anything from the first column and combine it with almost anything from the second column. So this is here to give you some ideas and inspiration for what kinds of deals you could run on your website. So just to pick a few examples at random, you could say, if you place your first order with us, you're a new customer, and you place your first order with us during Black Friday weekend, then you get a discount on your next order. Or you could, if you sign up to the email newsletter during Black Friday weekend, you will then get a certain percentage off. And that could be across all products, or it could be across a subset of products, whatever you think is appropriate, really. You can have offers, obviously, that relate to specific products or groups of products. So if you buy a certain product, then you get another product free. Maybe that's the thing you wanted to clear out of your warehouse. If you refer a friend and that friend then buys from us, you get free shipping. All sorts of combinations that you could make out of this. So this is here really for you to go to. I'm hoping you'll all keep this very useful slide, perhaps print it out, stick it on the wall of your warehouse. And next time you're trying to come up with a deal or discount, this is there to kind of spark ideas, really. Obviously, this isn't comprehensive. I'm sure you can all think of other things you could do. I mean, Mutney's, for example, which is Maria here, they have a sort of spin the wheel on their website where you you can win exciting prizes like, money off and stuff like that. So there's all sorts of things you can do with deals and discounts. You need to think carefully, obviously, about the implications of running these. So can you afford to do these things? What's it going to cost you? Have you got enough of these free gift products to run this deal, or are you going to run out after 1 hour? What happens if, you know, you're giving away a certain percentage off everything, and everybody takes you up on it? You know, can you actually afford to do that? So obviously you've got to weigh all of these things up carefully, think about the implications for your business, whilst at the same time bearing in mind what the point is of doing it, what you're trying to achieve. So how do you decide which offers you're going to choose? So these are the kind of factors that I would take into consideration. So first of all, just remember it is Black Friday, and it's almost better it's almost better to not participate in it, I think, than to run a really rubbish deal. So, you know, if it's, you know, if your deal was something along the lines of spend £500 on our website and your shipping will now only cost a tenner instead of £15, you know, it's not a very compelling offer, is it? People are expecting to see at least some really good deals on Black Friday. So what you might want to do is have some sort of headline attention grabbing deals, and then perhaps some others that are really the ones that you actually want people to go for, so they don't quite kill your profit margin quite so much. So people are expecting something good though. So if you're going to participate, it's probably best not to come up with something that looks really measly as your headline offer. It's got to be something good in there. But obviously you've got to bear in mind at the same time that the deals need to meet your business objectives. So what's your objective? Are you trying to make a ton of money, or are you just collecting data for your email list? Because, you know, that might affect what deals you're prepared to run. So think about what you want to achieve before you decide which offers you're going to run. Consider the minimum amount that you need to make for this to be worth it, and just crunch the numbers, really, is my tip. I was telling the people that came on my beginners Google Ads course yesterday that it's basically the number one skill I look for in staff is actually spreadsheet skills. We spent a lot of time. You might think, you know, traditionally marketing, advertising is more of a creative field, isn't it? Actually, a lot of digital marketing is about data. It's about looking back at past campaigns, crunching the numbers, seeing how well they worked, and then learning from that when you run your next campaign, making predictions about what you think might happen, and then measuring what actually happened against your predictions. That's how I see digital marketing, really, is a lot of it's actually maths. So I'm sorry if you don't like spreadsheets, guys, but you're going to need a spreadsheet, or find someone in your business that likes doing that kind of stuff and delegate it to them. So having decided, you've now decided, yes, you're going to participate, and these are the deals that you're going to run. So assuming we've reached that stage, you've then got to present them on your website and think about how to best do that, because sometimes you can visit a website and there's a sale on and you're thinking, well, where is it? Where are the sale products? I can't see them. Rihanna's nodding. I think she's had that happen to her. Yeah. You're getting sale? What sale? You know, they've just advertised these amazing Black Friday deals, and then I click through to the website and I'm like, where are the deals? You're hiding them. And it's usually not intentional. It's usually just the lack of ability to get those deals into a prominent place on the website, because, you know, maybe they haven't got the skills to do it. So what are the kinds of things you can do? So first of all, what I have seen clients doing in the past, which is frankly completely nuts, I hope none of the clients that have done this are in the room today, is upload new product images for all of their products, which they've edited in Photoshop or something, to put the word sale across the middle. I'm like, my goodness, the amount of work that you've had to do to create all of those images. And then you've got to upload them all into your website. And some clients of ours have like thousands and thousands of products. Can you imagine manually putting sale onto your product images? That's not a good use of your resources. What you can do, if you can't currently do this on your website, just speak to your web developer, is in the back end of your website, you should be able to kind of put in a sale price or tick a box that says this is in the promotion. And then you can have like a little sort of sale flag appears across the corner of your product image. You shouldn't have to be manually making new product images, because you'll be there. You'll spend a lot more time putting the product images onto your website than you'll probably get back in extra revenue. Once you've identified the products that are in the sale or whatever, you can then group those products into a sort of sale category, or you can tag them. It all depends on how your website's set up as to exactly how you would do it. But what you want to do is make sure that all of your products that are in the deal, discount, sale, whatever, are kind of tagged in some way, and that you pull those products together so that they all can appear on a kind of a central sale page, so people can easily see what the discounts are and how to get them. And then you want to make sure that that is prominently presented on your homepage, and preferably put it on the menu as well. So make sure there's kind of a sale link on the menu. Make sure there's a great big banner on your homepage. I have heard a client call this a place for stuff, which I thought was just like a brilliant name. You know, when you design a website and you sit down with the designer and you get it all exactly how you want it, what people often forget is that there is always stuff that you're going to need to prominently put on your homepage on a sort of ad hoc basis. So we have this a lot when COVID hit and everybody was wanting to put stuff on their website to say what was happening to their business during COVID. And then they didn't have a place to put it. It was like they haven't allowed in the design for any kind of sort of flagging up of something big that's happening that they need to tell everybody about. So if you are in a position where you're just planning a new website or something, always make sure there's a place for stuff. And stuff could be, you know, important announcements. It could be things like exactly like this, like Black Friday. This is where the deals are. So a lot of people will do that by adding a banner to the top of the homepage. So that could be a big image. It could be a hero image at the top of the page, or it could be, you know, like a thin band in a prominent color running across the top of the screen that says, you know, Black Friday deals are here. Don't hide your Black Friday deals, because you've just spent a lot of time planning them. Hopefully you do actually want people to buy them, and you're not doing this in a half-hearted way. So we want people to find them, don't we? Other things you can do once they've found the deals, once they've added something to their basket, you can have potentially the kind of top deals showing on the basket page. So people go, oh yes, I want one of those as well. Add it to the cart, increase your average order value. You can have, so if they have to spend X amount before they qualify for your deal, you can have that showing again on the basket page. You will have seen this on websites you've used, I'm sure. You know, you add something to your basket and then it says you just need to spend another £2.50 and then you get free delivery. So what are you going to do? You're going to spend more, aren't you, to get the free delivery? So flag that kind of stuff up in the basket. You might need the web developer to do a little bit more code for you. But this should be bread and butter to them. So they should be able to do that for you, no problem. And if you sell more as a result, then it's well worth the extra time spent on it, on coding it. So clearly show how much they've saved. This is another mistake I've seen people make in the past, is that when they've discounted their prices, all they've done is they've just overwritten the old price with the new price. So you don't even know that, as a user, you don't even know that that price has been reduced or what it used to be. You definitely want to display, you know, the old price crossed out, new price in red or something. So it's completely clear how much money you're saving. And the other thing you can do to get people to hurry up and buy your stuff is to give them some urgency. So have like a countdown timer on your website saying, you know, this deal ends in 3 hours. Buy it quick. You know, you could even, if they've added it into the basket and they're logged in, you could even potentially send them an email saying, quick, you need to complete your purchase or the price is going up. So there's all sorts of things you can do there to present your deals on the website in an effective way and get people to buy into them. So all of these kinds of ideas, if you don't know how to do them on your website now, ask your web developer. My web development team are going to kill me now, because those of you who are our clients are going to be badgering them now with lots of ideas. But hey, I'm sure they'll forgive me. So once you've got your deals onto your website, now you need to market them. Obviously, you need to make sure that those deals don't go live early. So you're going to want to publish them and also simultaneously start your advertising. The first thing I would say is do not forget the basics. So I am going to focus in this presentation quite heavily on things you can do on Google Ads, and those things do cost you money. But that's not to say that there aren't lots of things you can do without spending lots of money. So the most obvious thing that everybody always forgets is that, do you know what? You've got a bunch of customers already. You've got their email addresses. They're happy to be mailed in most cases because they've bought from you before, they like you. They would love to know about your Black Friday deals. So email them, and don't be afraid of emailing them. Have you ever noticed, if you've bought something from, you know, a big well-known website and you're then on their mailing list, have you noticed how often they email you? They do it loads, don't they? Absolutely loads. And yes, it can be annoying as a user. But why do you think they do it loads? Because it works. That's why they do it. And I think people are often, they're scared of mailing people too often because they think they're going to get lots of people unsubscribing. Well, yes, you will get people unsubscribing. But overall, if you work out if you crunch the numbers, it's usually worth mailing people quite frequently because it will make you money. And you just have to accept a bit of wastage in terms of people dropping off your email list. So also, the thing is, people won't even register your emails quite often until you've emailed them about 3 times. I do this a lot. I'm guilty of this. I'll see an email come in and I'll think, oh, that sounds interesting, but I'm really busy right now. So I'm sure they'll remind me again later. So I'll just, on this occasion, I'll just delete it and I'll look at it next time it comes into my inbox. And then the next time it comes into my inbox, I'm like, oh, I really should check that out. But I've got a really busy day. I can't look at that now. Delete. Then a few days later, it comes in again. I'm like, right, that's it. I'm going to have to look at this now because, you know, if I don't look at it now, I'm never going to look at it. Then I'll read the email. So, you know, don't be afraid of pestering people. Have you ever noticed that people need pestering? They won't do stuff unless you pester them. Isn't this true in life? I mean, have you tried contacting a tradesperson lately? They're normally not going to immediately respond or do you a quote, or just because you've asked them, you're going to need to keep chasing them, aren't you? It's the same. If you've got lots of customers and you want all of them to do something, you're going to need to keep asking them, because people normally don't do things on the first time of asking. So don't be afraid of it. And the same with your social platforms. You've got followers, I presume. It's pretty much one of the first things that businesses do now when they first start up is get themselves onto Facebook or Instagram or whatever and start to build up a following. If you've got a following, don't forget to tell them about your Black Friday deals. I mean, that sounds stupid. You think, how could anyone possibly forget to do that? But it happens. People are so caught up in, oh, I must get all this stuff onto my website and I must market it on Google Ads. They sometimes forget the basics. So do the basics first is my tip. Really work your email list. And as I said, one of the reasons for doing Black Friday deals in the first place is to build your email list so they'll buy other stuff from you later. If you want to go beyond this, though, if you want to go beyond the kind of organic free traffic that you can get from doing this kind of thing, then paid advertising, if you're looking to sell stuff quickly, is going to really be a reality for your business. And you'll notice I'm not mentioning search engine optimization here, even though search engine optimization is one of the key things that I'm known for. The reason I'm not mentioning it is because search engine optimization is not the kind of primary platform for advertising quick deals. It takes time to work. It's not going to, if you do a bit of SEO today, your Black Friday deal is not necessarily going to be #1 on Google tomorrow. Whereas with paid advertising, for this sort of thing, it just works really well because you can run your ads on specific dates and times and change the budget according to the season. So let's talk about Google Shopping, because for most e-commerce businesses, if you're selling from your own website, then Google Shopping ads are likely to be one of the primary ways that you get your traffic there. The reason being, it's relatively cheap as advertising goes. So a click from a Google Shopping ad, in our experience, normally costs somewhere between 10 and 20p. Whereas a click on a search ad, which are, the text ads that you see on Google, for the same keyword, it might cost you 50p, 70p, even like £2.50 for the same keyword. And the advantage of the shopping ads is that people can actually see the product before they click. So the advantage of that is that you're filtering out people who don't like the product when they see it. If you're running a text ad, people click on the text ad, come to your website and then go, oh, I don't like that. You've just wasted the money you've spent on getting them to click. So by having your shopping ads there, the advantage is that people can see roughly what they look like before they click. So that hopefully improves the quality. And it's relatively cheap. And it's relatively automated. So there's absolutely no way that you would ever write a text ad for all of your 3,000 products. But with Google Shopping, it's kind of semi-automated. So the information comes directly from your website via a circuitous route. It ends up in Google Ads, and all the product data is automatically updated based on the updates you make in your website. So it's relatively low maintenance. So adverts with promotions on Google Shopping actually get a 28% uplift in conversion rate as well as more clicks. So what that means is, if you see these screenshots I've got here, where it's this $25 off on that lovely looking robot there, that is a promotion on Google Shopping. You can flag the products that you have got in your promotion, and you can have the deal actually appear on the Google Shopping ad, which is right in people's face when they, so let's say I've just searched for a toy robot. I get this ad, it says 25% off. I'm much more likely to click it. So there's an uplift in clicks, but there's also, if I then click through to the website from that ad, I am 28% more likely to buy that product. So it's important that if you are running promotions on Google, if you're running ads on Google Shopping, make sure that you flag up any promotions on there. So we do have a particular client who historically was really bad at telling us. So we'd just suddenly go on their website one day and go, oh, they're running a big sale. They didn't tell us. If only they told us, we could have put the promotions on their Google Shopping ads and they would have made a lot more sales. So if someone else is running your ads for you, make sure they know about your sale, and preferably give them plenty of notice as well, so that they can fit it into their schedule to sort out these promotion tags for you. So the promotion's flagged up on the ad, and then when you click on it, when you click on the like $25 off, you get this pop-up box on the right comes up, which gives you more details, and you can even put like your discount code in there. I'll come back to discount codes later, because they're really useful for tracking your results. So you click the ad, a pop-up appears with the details. You then continue to the site, and hopefully you're much more likely to buy the product. Happy days. But be careful, because there are lots of rules. So, you know, we had that lovely slide with all the ideas of with the table with the 2 columns, mix and match promotion types. Not all of those promotion types are things that you can run on Google Ads. So before you decide what promotions you want to run, if you're thinking of running those promotions on Google Ads, you are going to want to just read the rules of what types of promotion you can and can't run. So for example, you can't run a promotion on Google Shopping which is overly restrictive in terms of who can access it. So you couldn't advertise like $25 off, and then when you click through to the website, you can only get the $25 off if you're a new customer. You see what I mean? Because that's restricting it to a subset of your users. So just be careful, make sure you're compliant with the rules. Otherwise, you're going to spend time setting it all up, and then it's going to get disapproved, and that's going to be very annoying. Okay, so you can also do this on, I mentioned search ads. Some of our e-commerce clients do also run very successful search ads campaigns as well as Google Shopping campaigns. So these are like the text ads that you see on Google. Again, like on your website, don't spend time changing all your ads manually to insert the sale prices in. That will take you absolutely ages, and you don't need to do it because there's something called promotion extensions for search ads. So I've given you a couple of screenshots there. One is from, well, they're just from 2 different ads really, but one of them is specific to Black Friday. So you can see how that is presented. You'll see, you can put on there that it's a Black Friday deal. It has this like label on, makes it stand out nicely. You can say what the discount is. So in this case, it's 25% off blinds and curtains. You can put the dates when it's valid, and you can put a discount code in there. So you can include, again, you can't include any type of promotion here. You have to check the rules first. The good news is they do not cost you anything extra. And the same is true with the shopping ads. So when you're running ads on Google, what you're doing is you're paying for each click. So the fact that you're running a promotion on your ad means that you're still paying for each click. You're just probably getting a few extra clicks because of your promotion. So there isn't actually per se a charge for including the promotion in your ad, but you might get more clicks. So that might cost you some extra money. So you can also schedule the dates that these extensions show on your ad, which is fabulous because we can set them up for clients so that, you know, their sale is on from this date to this date, and they'll like automatically appear on the date and then automatically disappear again when the promotion's ended. So basically we don't mess up by showing the extension when the promotion has finished. So that's another great thing. That's another reason to use extensions and not to actually put the deal into the text of the ad. Because if you put it in the text of the ad, you're going to have to remember to go back and remove it afterwards. And you can't believe the number of times I've spotted ads on Google that are like got out of date information in them. Now, if you want to be really clever, this is cool. I love this. You can insert a countdown timer into your Google ad. So if your Black Friday sale is going to end at the end of Cyber Monday, you have to put a little bit of code into your ad text, which obviously might seem a bit scary if you don't do code, but actually you can just, there's loads of like guides on the internet about how to do it, so you can cheat and just sort of copy and paste. You have to put a bit of code in there, and it will automatically update. So like if I visited this ad here again in an hour's time, it would say the sale adds in 4 hours. Again, adding to the, the urgency. I've got to get this deal now because it's ending. And that is the technical term for that, is it's called a Google Ads customizer. There are other types of customizer as well, but this is a countdown one. That's really cool. I love doing that type of thing. So how do you work out what budget you should have for Google Ads for your promotion? Well, this is where your historic data would really come in handy. This is why your first Black Friday campaign, you might want to think of it as just a way of collecting data for next year's Black Friday campaign. So for example, you're going to want to collect data about how much each click will cost you during the Black Friday period, because obviously lots of extra people will be running ads and they'll be putting more budget into their ads than usual over this period. So the cost per click of your ads during the Black Friday period will not necessarily be the same as your normal cost per click. So it's good to know what that's likely to be. Your conversion rate, that's the percentage of visitors that come to your website that then make a purchase. So if 100 people come to your website, 2 of them buy something, that's a 2% conversion rate. Okay. So you ideally should have some kind of idea of what your conversion rate is likely to be during the Black Friday period. If you've got no historic data, you just have to guesstimate. Ideally, you would already have some traffic coming to your website and you would know what kind of rate those people buy at. And you can use that to start. Bear in mind, your conversion rate will usually be better than normal during the Black Friday period because you've got sales running. So take your normal conversion rate and then inflate it a bit. So if your normal conversion rate is 2%, maybe estimate 3 or 4% during the Black Friday period. What average order value are you targeting? So if you're running a Black Friday campaign where people have to spend more than £50 to get the discount, then, hopefully you can expect an average order value of something like £52.50. So how many sales are you looking to generate? So your budget will largely be determined by, how ambitious are you being? How much traffic do you want? How many sales do you want? You've got to think about that as well. So you kind of come up with thoughts on what all of these things might be and work the numbers back. And this is where if you've got past data on previous years, it is so helpful. 2 particular Google Ads things that you might want to bear in mind. I've just put those at the bottom of the slide. So if you've never done Google Ads before, you'll probably be completely baffled by me talking about changing your ROAS bidding targets. Google Ads is normally, it uses a lot of machine learning, basically, to decide how much you should pay for different clicks. So if a person comes to your website who Google knows is a returning customer, and they know that they are actively interested in buying some dog shampoo right now because they've seen them looking at dog shampoo on other websites, then Google will pay more for that click than they will for somebody who doesn't fit your normal target demographic, has never been to your website before, doesn't even appear to have a dog. There'll be a difference in how much Google bids for those people. And the way you set up your Google Ads campaign is that you tell it what ROAS stands for return on ad spend. You tell it what return on ad spend you want to target. So people's typical ROAS targets would be like 400%, which means for every pound you spend, you want to get £4 back. Or it could be up to some of our clients, they target like 1,000%. So it just depends on your business model and your margins as to what an appropriate ROAS target is. But during Black Friday, you might adjust the targets. So normally, for example, you might want to get a minimum of 600% return on ad spend. But during the Black Friday period, you're prepared to drop down to 400% because your main aim is to acquire new customers, not to make a big return on your ad spend. I'm hoping that makes some kind of sense, but if you're totally new to Google Ads, that might be a bit going a bit too far for you, possibly. There is also, because Google uses a lot of machine learning, if your account suddenly starts behaving in a really freak way, so suddenly overnight you're getting massively more sales than you were the day before. That's what I mean by a freak period, or the opposite could be true. So during a period, let's say something went wrong on your website and you got absolutely no sales whatsoever. What you can do is you can use data exclusion to tell Google's machine learning to ignore those kind of freak periods, because otherwise it's going to be basing its assumptions on a set of data that is something that's never going to happen again. Anyway, again, that's a bit of that's just a tip for the advanced users in the group. Feel free to be completely baffled by that if you've never done Google Ads before. So just a quick look at Facebook ads as well. I have shamelessly plugged Google Ads here because for most e-commerce businesses, that's where most of their budget goes for bringing people to their website, more so than Facebook ads. And partly the reason for that is the Google Ads system has got so many more options in for promoting deals and discounts. There's not so many kind of specific features in Google Ads that are, in Facebook ads that allow you to advertise your deals. So just a few quick tips, really. So my number one tip really is that if you've never run any Facebook advertising in your life before, probably best not to start on Black Friday. Ideally, what you would have done you would have been already running some Facebook ads before. And the reason for that is a lot of what determines your success on Facebook ads, it's as much to do with the audience that you're targeting as it is to do with the actual ads themselves. So the ads themselves are important, but possibly even more important is who's seeing the ads. And getting the right people into your audience is absolutely key. And you won't know who to include in your audience if you've never run a Facebook ad campaign before, because you won't have built up any historic data. You won't know, is it better to show my ads to mums in their 30s, or is it better to show my ads to granddads in their 60s? Which audience gives me better results? You won't know that if you've never run a campaign before. You're unlikely to hit the winning formula on day one. And during the Black Friday period, on Facebook in particular, you will find loads of people just dive in and run ads for Black Friday when they've never run a campaign before. So what tends to happen around the Black Friday period is that the cost of advertising during that period is actually higher than usual. And if you've not done it before and you haven't got any data, that's going to make it even harder for you to run a successful campaign. So I would say think ahead. If you're thinking you want to run a campaign for Black Friday, it's probably a bit late to start now, to be honest, but definitely start now. So you've got a month or so to build up a bit of data. You won't have any past data to guide you if you haven't run campaigns before. What you want to build up are some audiences that are successful, and some audiences of users that have interacted with your ads before or visited your website before. Those are kind of warm audiences that you're going to be able to market to. And you can also, once you've got those audiences set up, you can then also create lookalike audiences that will hopefully behave similarly to those people that you've already had success with. You can also use your email lists to upload into Facebook and create lookalike audiences based on the people in that list. Now, all of this, I should warn you, doesn't work as well. You might remember earlier in the year, all the big news stories about, Apple not playing ball with Facebook in terms of tracking and user privacy and so on. So all of this stuff used to work a lot better 6 months ago than it does now. But these are still things that you should be working towards. And the key thing is to like not start on the day before Black Friday. Start running some ads now. Start testing different audiences. Start collecting data. In terms of the ads, the key thing to say there is you need to stand out. This is Facebook ads, Black Friday. You'll get loads of them as a user. Now, if you've decided you're not going to run any ads for Black Friday this year, but it's something you might want to do in the future, what I always do is I'm always screenshotting stuff. Whenever I get an ad and I think, oh, that's an effective ad, I'll screenshot it, and I've got a whole collection of them. So then when you come to run your campaign again in future, you've got some examples there to use as inspiration. The two ads I've put on here, what you'll notice about these is the images are quite striking and they stand out on the page. You've got to have something that stands out. Both of these ads also have discount codes, coupon codes in the ad text, which, as you'll see, is quite a good idea for tracking of results. Which brings me nicely onto my next slide. If you have discount codes, then you can look at your sales data after Black Friday and see where those sales come from. Because obviously the tip is don't use the same discount code on Facebook that you use on Google Ads. And don't use the same one on Google Ads as you put into a magazine. Have different discount codes for different marketing channels, because then you can analyze the results of those and see which one was the most successful. And looking at your actual sales data with a discount code by the side of it is kind of a really accurate way of doing that. So Google Analytics is great too for tracking results. So make sure you have Google Analytics set up. Make sure you've got e-commerce tracking enabled. So if you've got e-commerce tracking enabled in Google Analytics, you can see all of the products that have sold, where those people came from. So did they come from Google? Did they come from Facebook? Did they come from somewhere else? You'll get all of that data. What it won't tell you is Google Analytics won't tell you which specific Facebook ad people came from. It will just tell you they came from Facebook. So if you want to do some more granular analysis, it's a good idea to use something called Google's Campaign URL Builder. If you Google that, it will enable you to create trackable links that you can then put into things like Facebook and indeed other platforms as well. So you can use them in email or wherever. And then when people click that link, it'll appear in Google Analytics and it'll have like the name of the campaign next to it. So you'll know not only that they came from Facebook, but they came from Facebook campaign A or Facebook campaign B. And that just helps you with your analytics afterwards. People often have issues with the accuracy of their sales data that's getting fed into Google Analytics. It's kind of one of our recurring problems, really, is that we'll take on a new client and then we'll find that all of their data is wrong. So what I would do is look at your sales data that's appearing in analytics and compare it to your actual sales data and make sure that pretty much all of your sales are being reported in Google Analytics. Otherwise, you might be completely barking up the wrong tree. if the data you're looking at is wrong. And my top tip really is don't think about tracking afterwards. Tracking should not be an afterthought. You don't run a campaign and then go, ooh, I wonder how I can find out whether it worked well. No, when you're planning the campaign, you've got to think about how you're going to track it. Otherwise, you may as well not run it from the perspective of, you know, learning from it anyway. And the other thing to remember is that all tracking is slightly flaky. That's my technical term. So, and I say this particularly in relation to the data you get on Facebook versus the data you get in Google Analytics. You will find that they will report completely different numbers in terms of if you're tracking how many sales you've had from Facebook ads. Facebook ads will normally tell you a massive number, but oh, you've just generated £6 million from your Facebook campaigns. And then you're looking Google Analytics and it will say that they've generated £6.50. And the reason the two figures are different is because they are measuring, it's not because one is wrong or lying, it's because they're measuring different things. So, you know, when Facebook reports on how many inquiries you've had or how many sales you've had or whatever, what it's reporting on is, has somebody who's ever eyeballed your ad subsequently bought something on your website? So this could be, it could mean somebody just scrolled past your advert in the feed and didn't even notice it, but they just happened to later on buy something from your website. Facebook would take the credit for that and they'd say, yeah, we generated that sale. And they'll take the credit for it. So we call them greedy. So we say Facebook is quite greedy in terms of taking credit for things. It will take credit for things, like even if someone's just like scrolled past your ad like that, then they'll say, oh, we generated that sale. Whereas Google Analytics will only give Facebook the credit for the sale if somebody clicked on the ad and then bought something straight away during the same visit. Facebook ads will take the credit for it, even if they visited like a week later or something like that. Anyway, I forget the exact time period, but that's the reason. It's not wrong. What it's saying is true, but it's a different version of the truth. And what you regard as the truth might actually be somewhere in the middle between the two figures. So Google Analytics might be being a bit too mean. And Facebook obviously is trying to look good, so they're being very, very generous to themselves. So having gone through all of my slides there with all my top tips, or at least all the ones I could think of, for preparing for and marketing for Black Friday, I thought what we'd do now, as there's not that many of you, is that we will have a little sort of roundtable discussion really between all of us before we move on to have Karen talk about how to manage all of these lovely orders once they come in. So I'm just going to stop sharing my my slides for a minute because that's a bit antisocial. And let's all say hi to each other again. So if you can put your webcam on, if you're happy to do so, you don't have to, but if you can and you're happy to do so, just pop your webcam on. And also you're welcome to unmute yourself at this point as well. And let's just have a chat really about what deals and discounts people have run in the past. So if you've got any examples where you've run some kind of big sale on your website and it worked well, or equally, if you've run a big sale on your website and it was a disaster, we want to know. None of you in the room here today are competitors to each other, as far as I'm aware. So let's all learn from each other's successes and mistakes. So is there anybody here who's got, tell me who's run some kind of, it doesn't have to be Black Friday, it could be any other time of year, any successful online sale that you've run, or indeed unsuccessful one. Karen, you just know I'm going to pick on you if no one else says anything. So I'm hoping you can tell us about an either successful or unsuccessful sale. guys, come on. I know some of you have run promotions. All right, I'm going to pick on Karen. Karen, you can start the ball rolling. So have you ever had some kind of big sale on your website, for example?
I can think of one thing I did quite recently, actually, when lockdown started.
Yeah.
Because the nature of what we were selling was no longer selling particularly well, is I kind of bought some related items. I bought some craft kits for kids to do at home and offered them as a free gift if you bought something, and that worked quite well to generate interest because, of course, parents everywhere were looking for things to give their kids to do, so that worked quite well.
So actually you actually bought something in specially to use as a promotion. That's an interesting idea that I did not include on my slides. Have you ever run a sale on your website and regretted it?
I don't think so, no. But I have heard of a few people who've like maybe given away free things and then found that there's been complaints about the free thing, and they kind of then think, I wish I hadn't bothered. So yeah, it does happen.
Oh, so is that a cautionary tale not to just use it to get rid of all the crap from your warehouse?
Yeah, probably. If you've not sold it anyway, then there's probably a reason for that.
So guys, who else is here? So Maria, are you still there, or have you wandered off to make a cup of tea?
I am still here. I'm still here. I'm listening.
I know you've not been at Mutney's all that long, have you? But are you aware of any kind of deals or anything that Mutney's have run on the website that's gone well or gone badly? Is there anything you can think of to share?
Not at the moment. I'm about to start working on Black Friday and getting all the data from last year to see what worked and what didn't work, to be honest.
So this is quite good timing then, really.
Yes, definitely.
So do you know what kind of have you already got some ideas about what kind of offers you're going to run?
Yes, we have some big items which people have always wanted, so it would be a good time, obviously, to make a deal on them, and even for us to, as you were saying earlier, have space in our warehouse to be able to get more products in. So that's one thing, and obviously making our customers feel special on Black Friday by giving them a really good deal that they cannot miss out. As you know, we will run a lot of monthly offers as well, so that coincides with Black Friday with more offers. We yes, with Christmas coming up as well, it might be that we'll push more our Christmas targeted products, such as shampoos with Christmas fragrances, etc.
So your dog groomers that you're selling to are going to be able to, I don't know, shampoo dogs to make them smell like a Christmas tree or something.
Yes, no, not exactly Christmas tree, but yes, Christmas fragrances. Let's put it that way, which reminds you of Christmas.
That's quite cool. That's not something I thought of. So you could actually sell stuff now that people would be buying with Christmas in mind, even though you're targeting a business-to-business audience mainly.
Yes, exactly. Because obviously, since I've been here even few months, I'm trying to study how groomers purchase, what they want, and as probably I was saying yesterday, it's growing so much that it baffles me sometimes how much it's becoming more and more how do you say it, popular to have your dog groomed by a special with a special fragrance, shampoo, etc. So it's not just taking your dog for a at a groomer.
Yes, it's not just cutting their hair.
No, it's making sure that they smell nice as well.
I wonder how long does that last, that they smell nice for? Before they go and roll in something.
And again, something else which I'm trying to target is as well for groomers to sell our products to the end consumer. For example, if they're buying a 5-liter shampoo, then they can sell, or a fragrance, they can sell, say, 250 ml to their customers as well. So it's a balance I'm trying to find. Sorry, there's a lot going on behind me. So if you're hearing me
okay.
going a bit slow as I'm trying to.
We can still hear you, so that's fine. So really, you're going to use one of the ways you're going to use Black Friday is to reward your existing customers and make them feel special.
Exactly. That's one thing.
That's a really nice idea. And so tell us about your monthly offers as well. How do your monthly offers work?
So monthly offers, we usually have a shampoo which we put on a monthly basis, and they get it for £15 rather than 25. So they're saving £10 per tub practically. We have some shampoos which go immediately because they're the most popular ones. So usually we try and push the other ones which are not as popular. But even now we're trying to start building up for Black Friday and Christmas by shortly starting a campaign that we're going to put a free gift promoting a shampoo which will do well for Christmas, so people can start stocking up now for Christmas time, because Christmas from now towards Christmas is as well a very busy month for groomers, just like hairdressers. Practically they're all fully booked.
Yes. So you heard it first, guys. If you want to get your dog smelling nice for Christmas, get it booked in now. But also people can buy, it's not just dog groomers that buy from you, is it? It's the general public can buy from you as
yes
well.
And that's something which I'm trying to explore more. I'm doing as we know, I mean, things change, trends change, and nowadays even under the Christmas tree people are buying gifts for their dogs as well, not just for their children, for your husband, for your wife. You buy a small Christmas treat for your dog, so he'll have a present under the Christmas tree. So I am even focusing that not diversify. We have a small percentage of our website targeted at dog owners who want to buy a gift for their puppy, for their dog, for their four-legged friend, practically.
Brilliant. So the gift range is coming soon then.
Exactly. Yes.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Maria. That's very interesting. Will, we haven't spoken to you at all. Are you there at the moment? Hello, Will. Just giving you the opportunity to say hi if you want to. Obviously, if you're shy, or if you're in the middle of a room full of children or something, then that's absolutely fine not to say hi. So, I mean, there's just so many different ways, aren't there, of using deals and discounts, and those are some examples. What about the rest of you? Has this thinking ahead, have you got any ideas now of what you might be able to do, how you might be able to capitalize on this for the Black Friday period?
Hello. Hi, Helen. What I'm actually looking, for my business, even though I'm looking to launch fairly soon, more than anything, Black Friday is just about exclusive sneak peeks, as opposed to a big campaign or anything like that. You know, just to sort of get people, get the name out there. But I'm actually looking probably at this time next year for Black Friday campaigns. So yeah, 12 months away. But as I said, it's all that exclusive sneak peeks. Sort of get it now. It's all limited, or there's only a small range of products. So just to do all the testing and try and capture some data.
Well, that sounds like a good way to use Black Friday. And yeah, even if you've got a very small product range to begin with, that's no reason why you can't start trying to, as you say, build up a following, build up some data. So yeah, we'll be interested to know how you get on with that, Mark, if you
yeah, well,
happy to let us know afterwards.
I'm hoping that you'll click onto it anyway. So it's online and direct.
Pop it in the chat box, Mark, and then we can all have a look, and you
There's
might
nothing
get
there
some...
at the moment.
Oh, well, we'll have to bookmark it then, and everyone can come back later. Yeah, come back and join us for our November seminar. And even if it's not relevant to you, because then you can tell everyone about it, can't you? And tell us how the launch went.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Rihanna, do you have the date of our November seminar to hand? Because it'd be a good time to tell everyone about it, wouldn't it?
Yes, it is the 3rd of November. Did have to load it then. 3rd of November, so Wednesday again at the same time.
Wednesday, the 3rd of November. So put that in your diaries, guys, even if it's not, even if you're just getting started, because the topic we're going to be talking about is internationalizing your e-commerce business, which I have to say is one of the key questions I get asked a lot by our clients is, should I be targeting other countries outside the UK? How do I go about choosing which countries I should target? We'll have, obviously I'll have some thoughts on it from a marketing perspective. So how do you, and from a web development perspective, so, what's the correct way of building a website that can target multiple countries? Also, how can you build a campaign that targets multiple countries? Because you can't just expect a website to perform, for example, as well in France as it does in the UK when it's a .co.uk website and it's all written in English. Probably not going to pop to the top of Google in France when people search in French, is it? So, but equally, you can't just build thousands of websites in different languages, can you? Because that would be unaffordable. So I'll be coming up with some thoughts for you on how you could do that kind of thing. And we're going to have a guest speaker. Karen, who's our guest speaker? Because you know him.
Oh, it's a guy from DHL. And they actually helped. We set up the international shipping, and they helped us out with that. So that's who you've got.
Yeah. So Karen obviously has worked with him before, or at least with DHL before, and knows that. Don't worry, it's not just a sales pitch for DHL. They are actually really helpful in terms of giving advice on logistically, how to sell overseas and which countries to target and things, because actually taking the shipping into account is actually influential in your decision as to where you should sell. So that should be a really interesting presentation. I'm looking forward to it. And I know it's a hot topic for our clients. So do register for that. Even if it's a bit early days for you, you're still welcome. So even if, like Mark, you might not be thinking about selling all over the world just yet, but you're still very welcome to attend if you want to sort of grab some tips for future reference. And then you could tell us all about how your launch went, which I'm sure we'd all be interested to hear. So okay, I think we'd better get on to hear some more from Karen, because Karen is the one who really knows e-commerce a lot more than I do. I just talk about it. And let me just put up another slide for you. I promise you this bit is not going to be death by PowerPoint. I'm going to interview Karen basically and ask her lots of questions, and hopefully she's going to know the answers. But you guys are also very welcome to if you've got any questions as well for either Karen or myself, please do just pop those in the chat box and we'll come back to them at the end. Can you all see my slide now, guys? Can you see this lovely picture of Karen? Give me a thumbs up. Marvelous. So first of all, let's have a proper, obviously I haven't introduced Karen properly because I knew we were going to be doing a whole interview with her, so I've saved it until now. So Karen, tell us a little bit. We can see from the slide your business is called Skatey, so there's possibly a clue there in the name about what you do, but yeah, tell me a little bit about Skatey. What is it? How long has it been going? That kind of thing.
Yeah, we sell figure skating clothing and accessories, most of which are imported from America because figure skating is quite a lot bigger there than it is here. It actually started because it was a hobby of mine that I took up as an adult and was looking for suitable stuff to wear. So that's how it started. It started 12 years ago now. I run a small warehouse where I ship the products from. It's just over 1,000 square feet. And I have a couple of members of staff who help me with packing parcels and fulfilling the orders. Yeah, so that's a summary of what I do. And I guess you want to know how I do it as well.
Well, that's the even more interesting bit, I think. Yeah, so I guess one of the key questions when you're thinking about running a campaign for Black Friday or something like that is you've really got to think about when the orders do come piling in. Are you going to be able to deliver? Because if you let your customers down, you know, all your hard work has been for nothing, really. So that's the kind of theme that I wanted to explore here. So let's say, Karen, you did tomorrow get just a huge number of orders overnight come in because you've run a big sale or campaign. How do you cope with that extra demand? How do you sort of scale up what you're doing overnight?
Well, I would hope I'd have a bit more notice than just overnight, because really preparing is the key. You need all hands on deck when you know you're going to be busy. You can be busy not just from running a promotion as well. Cyber Monday, which is the Monday following the Black Friday, is notoriously busy for online sales anyway, because people get paid end of November. And that's when they start their Christmas shopping. So we found even years that we haven't run any promotion, we've had huge demand on that Monday. And it's about just making sure you've planned a bit. So don't let your staff book the day off on holiday so that they're all available. And be prepared to offer a bit of overtime if you need extra time, or maybe even have a family member on standby who you can call and say, help. So yeah, it's just about being prepared a bit for it. Yeah.
Yes. So obviously, that's the benefit of Black Friday, I guess, is that it is planned, isn't it? Because I know a lot of people were really caught on the hop when COVID hit. I mean, we kind of could see it coming a bit, couldn't we? But nobody
was planned for the scale of it now.
Right, exactly how it was going to affect us, and we couldn't really see. It's hard to plan for something like that. I know, obviously, with your business being figure skating related, it didn't have a good impact on your business.
No, they shut all the ice rinks straight away, and they were the last to open. And then, of course, November again, they were all shut again. But yeah, if you can plan, it's worth remembering when you can set expectations as well when you do your marketing, is if you know you're going to be too busy to maybe ship them all, or have an inkling that you're going to be too busy, you could increase your time for delivering products. So if you usually say, yeah, we ship everything the same day, maybe add a day or two onto that. Just give yourself a little bit of a leeway. Because if people are getting a really good deal anyway, they'll be prepared to wait an extra day or two for it. And if you set their expectation and then you exceed that, that's never a bad thing. But if they're expecting it the next day and then you get more orders than you can do, that's not going to go down well.
That's a good point, actually, about exceeding expectations, because I mean, I'm very excited because I ordered a greenhouse recently, and when I ordered it, I knew it had a long lead time. It said it was going to come in like 12 weeks time or something. I was fine with that because I can't grow anything in it till next spring anyway, so that was all fine. But then about 3 days later, I got a text from them saying it's coming next week. I was like, way fantastic. So yeah, probably you know, doing that, you know, setting expectations a little bit lower than usual, but then over delivering, that's probably
you can do that whatever platform you sell through as well. I mean, if it's your website, you have the power to put in the text on your shipping page saying it's going to be 2 days now. But also if you sell on eBay or Amazon, they've all got places where you can put delivery lead times or order fulfillment times or whatever they call it. So, you know, it's your business and you have the power to set that expectation. So make sure you use it if you think you're going to be too busy and going to need the leeway.
Yes, but you've got to be careful, of course, that if you are normally on your Google ads, for example, if it says, you know, next day delivery, and then you've changed it on your website, you've got to remember to change your advertising as well, because you don't want to be misrepresenting. So just make sure you've got all your ducks in a row. But as you say, that's a really good tip there, that it is your business and you can make decisions like that, can't you? And if people are getting a good deal, maybe they are prepared to wait a little bit longer, as long as they know about it in advance. So, I mean, do you have, Karen, do you have take on more staff at busy times of year? How does that work?
Well, it's tempting to try and get more staff when you know you're going to be busy, but the problem with that is having to train them in time, because you need to train them early. They want to be doing the shipping orders at least a month before you know you're going to be busy, so that they can do it smoothly and you're not going to come into more problems. So I would probably opt for offering overtime to existing staff who know how it all works, rather than trying to get somebody new in, especially now what we're end of September, it's getting a little bit near for Black Friday. But yeah, there is also the option of, when it's your own business, you sort of just put a few extra hours in yourself, or you know, grab a family member to help.
That's really interesting, because I think everybody thinks that, you know, working in a warehouse fulfilling orders is, you know, low skilled, easy job, anyone can do it. But what obviously you've just said, you'd want someone to be doing it for a month, really, so that they really know what they're doing. So I mean, that's just quite an interesting point, really.
Shipping systems are quite tricky to use, and they're all different as well. So, you know, Royal Mail have their click and drop, and there's different ways of actually creating an order as well. Sometimes it's completely tied into your website and it will do it automatically, or sometimes you have to export the orders as a CSV or Excel file and then import it into the other one. Or some of them are not integrated at all, and it's a manual copy and address into another piece of software. So yeah, the fact that you've got to learn all of that, and it's, especially if you use more than one shipping company, there's more than one to learn, and there's always little anomalies when things go wrong a little bit. Somebody's postcode doesn't match what the address they've given. You need to know what to do to resolve that, because some systems won't let you print the label if the postcode's not right and things. So little things like that will tend to crop up. And I'd say after a month, you can probably have covered most things that are likely to happen, and just so that they'll know what to do, and it's not then going to delay all the rest of the orders for the day.
So it's actually a more skilled job than people think, really.
Yeah,
so.
I think it is. Yeah, and it's something that I like to keep involved in just a little bit to know what's happening, because it's easy to say, oh, you can just pay staff to do that, but having a busy time is a good chance for me to make sure I'm still involved with it and know what's going on. You can learn a lot from being there with your staff, because you know, I had one lady who the stock system I had would say to get this box, and then for the next order, get this box, and it was the same box, and she said, couldn't it ask me to get that box while I already had it out? And you know, that prompted me to look and review how it worked and optimize it. So yeah, it is good to get yourself involved with that as well.
You know, kind of back to the floor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about contingency plans? You know, so what happens if, for example, one of your staff that's well trained, suddenly they're ill, or you know, something else unexpected happens? What about can you make any contingency plans?
With staffing, it's always very difficult. I mean, whatever business you've got, I'm sure you know what it's like. If somebody leaves the business, you've got to replace them. That's always difficult.
That's
anytime.
Definitely
if it
an
happens
issue.
at a busy time, then yeah, God help you really. But you just have to have a few extra people who know how things work that you can call on. But you can have contingencies plans for other things as well, like your shipping, for example. The shipping companies do plan for busy times as well. You know, they'll put on extra couriers to come around and collect them, but sometimes they don't meet the demand. We've had times where Royal Mail van has come and his van's been too full to fit everything in it, so they haven't been able to collect the stuff. So it's worth knowing where your local depot is and when you can drop it off if you need to just take it yourself, or have another courier that you can use if you need to. If Royal Mail's click and drop software just goes down on that day or something, it's like, all right, I'm going to have to send this to someone else. It is tricky though, because this isn't the time to be trying new things. So I'm not saying, yeah, let's go and open accounts with all these new couriers so that we've got everything covered, because you've then got to learn how to use them. So it's having a balance of just a little something that you can think of and say, right, well, if this goes wrong, I could do this, but trying not to take on too much as well.
Yeah, I think balancing act is always the hard part, isn't it? So, I mean, how do you know which products to stock up on ready for your promotions? Have you got any tips on that?
For promotions, tends to be products that you can get good deals from your suppliers. So if they'll give you a good price on something, you can sell it at a discount. So it's usually led by that. But you can get overstock items where you bought too much last time and you want to shift those. But I think you mentioned earlier about looking back over your previous years as well, and that can give you a good idea as well. If you've got stuff that doesn't go out of fashion and stuff, like a base set of stock items, you can certainly look at how well they sold in previous years and know to get more of those ones in. But I think it's not just about stocking up on your stock. It sounds bonkers, doesn't it? But there's other things you need to make sure you've got plenty of. Your mailing bags, your packing materials, your shipping labels. You don't want to be running out of these right when you're busy. Check your printer paper and your toner cartridges and things like that. And go around and test your, if you've got wireless barcode scanners, you want to check the batteries in those are all right, because the last thing you want the batteries break, because the whole idea of those is that you scan stuff really quickly. If the battery goes in one of them, you've got somebody standing there typing in the barcode, that's not going to save time, and that you're going to be less efficient. So yeah, just don't just check your stock levels, check all your supplies and everything that might go wrong at the last minute, right at the wrong time.
Now, here's something I've always wondered. So I think the thing with e-commerce businesses that, you know, you're operating in your warehouse, and then there's somebody else a few miles down the road, they're in their warehouse. You're all kind of not talking to each other. So how do you know, like, whether your staff are being really efficient, or, you know, how do you get ideas of how to sort of improve the efficiency of your warehouse? You know, how do you know? So, you know, is there like an industry standard number of orders per minute that someone ought to be able to pick and pack? You know, how do you know?
I've not heard of that. No, I don't know if it is a thing or not, but
it depends what you're picking and packing, doesn't it? But
it depends on what software you're using and how automated it is and things, you know, whether you've got to type addresses in manually or not. I think just by doing a few yourself and maybe timing yourself, and then, you know, okay, maybe your staff might not be as quick as you, or sometimes they might be able to do it quicker. And it depends how many orders you're packing, how many items are in the order as well. It's going to take longer to pack a parcel with 10 things than it is with just one. So yeah, that's probably a hard thing to measure, but I think you'd get a good idea by doing a few yourself, just to know how long it takes and where the slow things are. You know, you might find getting the items ready is fine, and then you press the print button to print the label and it takes 30 seconds to come out of the machine. Well, there's a thing you could fix easily by just buying a better printer. So yeah.
So is that something you've put a lot of like thought and time into over the years, sort of, you know, thinking about how you can optimize your process? Because if you can manage with fewer, more experienced staff, that's
yeah,
I think
I've put time and effort at various points. So, you know, when we first started, there was a certain amount of time put into it, and I think having a new member of staff join does make you focus on that, because they'll come up with different ideas of doing different ways of doing things. So, you know, if you say do this, they might go and do it a completely different way, and then you might think, actually, that is a better way of doing it. So that, you know, when you get new staff join, that does make you review your processes. So like I said earlier, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is not the time to have new staff, because not only do you have to train them, but it's also a good idea to sort of observe a bit and learn from what they're doing, because that's when you get some of your good ideas for optimizing as well.
So you go and pitch in the warehouse with your staff while you're delivering all of these things, and get some great ideas for optimizing future. And if a smaller number of people can pick and pack a larger number of orders, that's definitely going to make your you know, sudden increases in demand much more easy to cope with, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a really interesting area that you don't often hear people talking about. You know, I visited a company once when I was judging some awards, and they were a really successful e-commerce business. Actually, they sold 100% on Amazon. They didn't sell anything through their own website. And the kind of lengths that they had gone to optimize their warehouse were kind of, it blew my mind, actually. They had designed, they had specially designed packing benches that were, they'd done some research, and there was some kind of Japanese principles that they were following when they designed these packing. It was so that, you know, your tape dispenser is in exactly the right place, so you can sort of rip off the tape a fraction of a second faster. And you know, it's just,
wow, that's great.
I just thought that was that was so cool that they'd got and they were sort of custom designed and built these benches for their particular product range to be easier and quicker to pack.
Yeah, and of course it all depends on what you sell as well. Different shaped and sized items are all going to have a different optimal way of being packaged up, isn't it? So it's probably not a one size fits all thing, is it?
So something I found really interesting, and anyone can go and do this, or at least you could before COVID. I don't know if they've started doing it again, but anyone can go on a tour of an Amazon distribution center. And regardless of what you might think of Amazon, okay, so Amazon, lots of people regard them as completely evil and would never consider selling their products on Amazon. But nonetheless, it makes for a very interesting tour because you get to see people picking and packing orders, and they were talking about how do they decide, Amazon things always come in the wrong size box, or it seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, why have they put this tiny little item in this massive box? Obviously the system's still imperfect, but they were talking about how they decide which box to use. And it's all to do with like the dimensions of the product, and they calculate which size box it should go in, and so it's not that there's a person in the warehouse making a decision about the box size. The box size is all kind of calculated by the supercomputer. And the way they arrange their stock on the shelves as well, that was something they talked about quite a lot. So it's not in alphabetical order or anything like that. It's to do with the things that get ordered the most often are on the most accessible shelves.
Yeah.
So the things that are down the bottom and up the top are the things that don't get ordered very often, and the things that are in the middle, and
that
the things
makes sense. Yes.
The things that often get ordered together are stored close to each other. And it's all calculated by computer.
Yeah, so it's sort of to save time moving between the different places, which is again the thing I said earlier about couldn't I have got that out of that box while I had it? So it's a similar thing, but you can also optimize for saving space as well. I mean, for Amazon, I doubt the space thing's an issue, but when I'm stocking up my Christmas stock, I get short of space, so it's more about having to put things that will fit more in a box sometimes as well. So yeah, there's a lot to think about with optimizing.
Yeah, because obviously if you were going to upgrade to a bigger warehouse, that's going to increase your costs a lot. So
yeah,
I just think this whole sort of optimizing your e-commerce back office, I think it's a really interesting area. So maybe we'll explore that further with you, Karen, if you're interested in another session, because Karen has the benefit of, as well as running an e-commerce business, she is actually a web developer as well. So she can code things, and when she sees something that's suboptimal, she can make it better without having to go to a third party, which I would imagine that does give you a real advantage compared to most e-commerce business owners.
I'd say it probably does, yeah. Although it can also be a hindrance as well sometimes, I think.
Really?
Swings and roundabouts.
I mean, how do you decide when you've run promotions before? How do you decide what those promotions are going to be?
That's a hard question.
Sorry.
I guess whatever's good at the time. I said earlier about craft kits were good because the parents were looking for things to do, but I think the table that you put up was actually really good. What they get from the deal and what they have to do to qualify, and I guess I'd always start with what they get from the deal, thinking about what do I actually have to offer, whether it's some extra stock to get rid of, or I've got a good price. Maybe my shipping company's given me a discount for a week, so I'm like, I can get free shipping for a week. And then when I know what I'm going to offer, I think about what is reasonable for them to do to qualify to make it a good deal, because the example you gave earlier, if you have to spend £500 to save £5, it's not really a reasonable. So I kind of guess I think about it backwards, if you like, to come up with what's a sensible and going to look like a good deal for people.
I guess knowing your target audience is really important.
Yes, knowing what they want and what's going to look like good value for them as well.
So I guess that's where obviously your business came about, because you had, tried to buy these products yourself, and you really understand the target audience.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because when I first started, it could only be got from overseas, and a lot of money had to be spent on shipping and import taxes for them. So that's where it all came from.
So yeah, knowing which promotions to run, I guess, is about, as well as anything else, getting under the skin of your customer and thinking, well, are they going to value this? Is this a reasonable thing? Are they going to see this as a good deal? Sometimes you can offer something that actually is a really good deal, but if the customer doesn't understand that it's a good deal, then I've had this problem when trying to present to people things like website hosting, for example. If your website hosting actually is a really good deal, but the customer doesn't really understand what it is that you're giving them, they're not necessarily, they're going to think, oh, it's more expensive than this other hosting, so therefore it must be a rip-off. Do you see what I mean? So you've got to try and present it in a way that they understand that it's a good deal.
Yeah.
Not just, it doesn't just need to be one, it also needs to look like one. Which I guess maybe
is saying
with products,
what the value of it is. So rather than just saying a free gift, this free gift worth £10, so then they appreciate the value of it, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip. And that's I guess where you definitely have to present what it used to cost. If it's currently this amount, definitely you need to make it clear that it's normally this other amount. People are sometimes a bit cynical though, aren't they, about that? If you're saying they're thinking it's like DFS, where everything's permanently on sale, and you're just on that one day it was it was sold for £1,000, and on every other day of the year it was like 200.
Yeah. Some people get a bit wise to that, don't they? Because I think there's a key point of how many deals you can offer at the point where people see them as genuine deals. So yeah, perhaps a good tip is to not overdo it. Don't have an offer every single day of the year, because it's not gonna look genuine, is it?
I think it really varies from market to market as well. So we've got one particular client I can think of where they sell a sort of high-end designer product. It really only ever flies when they have a sale. And the rest of the time, the sales are so much lower. So they almost have to keep having sales. I think it's because of the price point of the product, perhaps.
It could be, or if they've done so many sales that they've now set that precedents, and people just know that there'll be another one soon.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes, isn't it? So are you, by having regular sales, are you just putting the thought in people's heads that, oh, I won't buy it now, I'll wait till the next sale? And
so is it a product that people want there and then and actually need it? Like, for example, for me, for skating tights, if you rip your tights, you want a new pair, especially if you've got a competition coming up soon. You need it there and then, so you're not going to wait for an offer. But some of the more items that are sort of optional, if you like maybe a new skate bag, people will wait for those. So they're the sorts of things that are going to need to have deals to get people to go, well, actually, yeah, maybe I could replace that old tatty bag. So yeah, Is
So-
your product a necessity to replace,
Yeah.
or is it more of a luxury item?
So the message from that might be, don't put your tights in the sale, because you'll sell those anyway. But put the bags in the sale, because people aren't necessarily going to, be replaced. You perhaps want the sale items to be the things that they wouldn't otherwise have purchased. So you're getting an extra sale out of it rather than a sale that you would have had anyway.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
That's we should probably go back and add that to the slides, shouldn't we? So do you have any other tips for other small e-commerce businesses, or like if you put yourself in Mark's scenario, for example, and you're just getting started with an e-commerce business today, what would be your kind of top tips, really?
I think what you're doing with waiting, not doing Black Friday straight away, see how it pans out is good. Not rushing into anything, because you'll try a few things and they won't work. You'll try some things and they will work. So it's all about trial and error, and don't be afraid to change things as well. And I guess other tips, going back to when I said all the things you should stock up on, is just make sure you've got plenty of tea and coffee and snacks, stuff to keep staff morale high. And if you need to order in pizza for lunch because you haven't got time to stop, then that's always an option too. Something I've had to do myself.
So have the number of the pizza delivery service to hand.
Well, actually, I tend to order it online, so I've got it instantly there as a bookmark. So
just in case of emergency, press here.
Yeah.
Fun fact, a guy that I used to be a client of ours, he didn't run an e-commerce business, but interesting fact. So he lived and worked in London, and he had something set up on his phone where when he exited the tube station, it would automatically order him a coffee from Starbucks and pay for it. So he would just walk in, pick up his Starbucks, and then walk into the office, and he had that all kind of optimized. So that just made me think of that, maybe you could, especially with your web development skills, Karen, set something up so that, when you've got X number of orders, automatically deliver a pepperoni at 1 o'clock.
That's a really good idea.
Optimize it even further. So we've just got 4 minutes left now, guys. So does anybody else in the room have a question for Karen or myself? Is there anything in the chat box, Rihanna?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Come on, guys. Interrogate us. We're here. We're waiting for your questions. Is there anything else you would like to know about planning for Black Friday? I feel like I should have. Come on, guys. Come up with a question. Who's going to be the first one to come up with a question? We should have a prize for that, shouldn't we? Send you a pizza if you come up with a question. See if that works. No questions at all. Wow. Hopefully that means we've blown your minds with all the information. Does anybody have any final thoughts? Is there something that you're going to take away from this and implement in your business this Black Friday, apart from don't do it this year in Mark's case? Any other? What do you think are the key takeaways for you guys? And if you're shy, just pop them in the chat box rather than speaking, or if you've got a lot of background noise.
For me, I think it was the Google shopping ads. That's the big takeaway from me, of how to use them, how to get them set up. You know, yes, I've seen all the Google stuff before, and I've seen all the Facebook ads and etc. etc. But that really is the big thing I'll be taking away. How to set that up, and just having again, with the massage chairs, it's all about the delivery and the quality of delivery. And actually, so just say, one of the things I've done study visits already. I'm a big believer in, you know, just going to exhibitions and just sat there and just watching, you know, who's coming to the stand, and actually find out what questions. And during lockdown, the big thing is that a lot of people have bought either stuff for their garden, as in like greenhouse.
Yeah, I know.
Or,
I'm a stereotype.
Yeah, or they've bought, you know, sort of their bubble baths to go in the garden.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying to me now, okay, well, actually, coming to the winter, don't want to be like sort of running the gauntlet to go into their hot tub. How about having a massage chair? And I'm just saying to people, okay, well, what are the questions that come up? And it's things like the size of the doors to get these massage chairs into the house. And asking these sort of questions. And one of the things I've looked at is having a 2-man delivery, who will actually go in, set up, and take all the rubbish away. You know, and actually just using that as a discount code. You know, that offer.
That's nice. Yeah. So rather than sort of knocking money off or something necessarily, you're offering something extra.
Yeah. So it can either be delivered to the door via a courier, or you can actually have somebody who will bring it in and set it up.
And perhaps tell you how to switch it on.
Something like that. Part of the fun is actually part of the fun is actually the discovery of how these things work.
Yeah. Oh, what happens if I press this?
Yes.
Suddenly I fly backwards. I think you could be onto something there with massage chairs, and you know, the same people that buy hot tubs maybe wanting the massage chair for the winter.
Well, that's who we're targeting anyway. Is those people who've actually had that free money or that spare cash from not going on holiday, and who are still nervous about flying and being in enclosed places. You know, how do they relax sort of this winter?
And I think with a big ticket item like that, you really do need to think about answering every sort of possible objection that someone might have, like, you know, it won't fit through my door, and I don't know what other questions you've discovered.
Well, the other question is actually sort of just measuring standard width doors to 76 centimeters.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, sort of, and 76 centimeters, but is that actually the doorway or the open door? So.
True. And I think this, as well as high ticket items, it does also apply to smaller items as well, that your product descriptions and your product photography has to answer people's questions effectively, doesn't it? So they have to be able to see, what kind of zip has it got, or, you know, how does it open, or, you know, what kind of connector has it got on it? And if you can see that through the product description and the photography, we're hoping to cover product photography in a later session, but I haven't managed to find a speaker for that yet. If anyone knows any good product photographers who can speak about product photography, I'd love to know. Because I think that'd be a great topic, is, you know, optimizing your photos to generate more sales. So yeah, all of that, you know, describing the thing accurately and giving all the detail people need to make a decision is a great tip for selling more stuff online, definitely. So yeah, thanks for that, Mark. That's great. And thank you to all of you for coming. As I said, the next session is which date again, Rihanna?
3rd of November.
3rd of November. I notice I don't have a very good memory. 3rd of November, talking about internationalization of e-commerce businesses, but everybody's welcome. Please tell all your friends that run e-commerce businesses about these sessions. It's recorded, so anyone who can't make it on the day can still watch it afterwards. So we'll be sending this out in due course when Rihanna's done a bit of video editing for me. So yeah, thank you very much for attending, and I hope you've all got something out of it, and I look forward to hearing about all your successful Black Friday campaigns in due course. So thanks very much, everybody, and see you again soon.